Hey everyone, welcome back to ACT Math Quick Hits, where you can make this one small change and watch a video a day. It doesn't cost you any money, only costs you a little bit of time, and you're going to help improve your ACT score by improving your ACT math score. So there's a rundown of the math section of the ACT. Let's get back into it for today. All right, so today it says whenever we have this complicated expression is defined, it's equivalent to these less complicated expressions down here. All right, so a couple things we can do here, and actually I don't know which one is actually faster. So what they want you to do, what the math here is they want you to factor the numerator, factor the denominator, and then cancel, see what's left, and then match that up with the answer choices. Or we could just put this into Desmos, graph the top, or graph the expression they give us, and then graph every single one of these answer choices and see which one lines up. The factoring is actually pretty complicated for this one, so I don't know, like I said, I don't know which one is actually faster. Let me do both. Let me do the factoring part first just to show you. Maybe you want to learn a little bit more about factoring. Maybe it would be a little bit quicker. So let's see what happens. All right, so we're going to factor this top expression. I'm going to take out a greatest common factor first. So I'm going to take a 3x out first, and then I'll have x squared minus 4. And then in my denominator, I can take out a greatest common factor of x, and then I'll have x squared minus x minus 6. But there's more factoring to be done. Right? Notice like we have expressions that still have a squared in it. This one can factor with difference of 2 squares, because I can think of this 4 as a 2 squared. And then this one down here can factor with product sum. So if we keep factoring this, we get our negative 3x. Here's our x. So in the top, we're going to end up with 2 pieces. They both contain an x and a 2. One of them's plus, one of them's minus, right? So that's how we factor difference of 2 squares. In the bottom, like I said, we call this product sum. The first term of each needs to be x. The second term needs to add to negative 6, multiply to negative 6 and add to negative 1. So negative 3 and positive 2, that's what multiplies to negative 6 and adds to negative 1. So here's my expression, big fraction, looks terrible. But now anything in the numerator that matches in the denominator, because it's separated by multiplication, if it divides, it becomes 1. And anything times 1 is itself, thus it cancels. So those x's can cancel, and then x plus 2 can cancel. And so what we have remaining is negative 3x minus 2 divided by x minus 3. So we can't cancel anything else. We can't cancel the negative 3's and the x's because those things are bound by their subtraction, right? They're an actual quantity. So this is as far as we could go. Looks like that's what answer choice A is trying to fool you into believing, right? Is canceling those 2 pieces. But actually, right, I don't see this answer choice over there. That's because they redid the distribution here. So they got negative 3x plus 6 all over x minus 3. And then they actually even wrote the constant first, right? So kind of like all over the place here. 6 minus 3x all over x minus 3. Right, so there we are, right? So we know choice D is the correct answer. Right, but that was a lot of factoring to be done. It actually took quite a lot of time. So let's just look at the Desmos route. Right? Because like I said, it might be faster. It's gonna be annoying to put this in for sure, but like we don't have to do all that factoring, and like it's easy to make a mistake with all of that. So let's put these graphs in. So y equals, and then I'm just gonna start putting these values in, 3x cubed. And I'm going to actually build my fraction now. It gets kind of clunky with Desmos, in building fractions. If you try to put the whole thing in, then a lot of times you got to go back and put parentheses and stuff. So if I start my fraction early, I don't have to do that. I'm going to put that negative up with that numerator term just because that matches exactly what the question looks like there. And like I said, I'm going to build my denominator now. X cubed. Oops, how about a minus in between there? Like I said, this is where Desmos kind of gets clunky. Takes a little bit of time to put these pieces in. Maybe if you're on like a Chromebook or something, it's a little bit nicer because you can like type on your Chromebook. I don't really like using like the Desmos keypad. It's personal preference. Okay, so there's our graph, right? It looks pretty complicated. We don't see the whole picture. That's okay. We don't necessarily need the whole picture. We can zoom out more if we do. So let's just go down the line with our answer choices, right, and see which one of these matches up. So y equals x minus 2. Well, that clearly does not match up, right? You see the red graph, and then we just have a straight line for the y equals negative 2. So let's go down to choice B. And again, building the fraction of this one, build the fraction early anyway, but that'll make it nicer for the rest of the answer choices. So again, looking at my red graph and my dark blue graph, those clearly don't match up. All right, let's do the next choice. 6 minus 3x. Oh, we already have the x plus 3. That's nice, okay. But again, doesn't match up, right? Those two graphs don't line up. So that's not the right choice. So actually for the last one, all we have to do is change the denominator to x minus 3, right? And there we go, right? So we can click on and off. If I click it off, right, you see the red graph, then click it back on, there's the blue graph. So those two things clearly line up perfectly. So it is choice D, right? We saw it by factoring. We saw it with Desmos. So choice D is our correct answer. Ooh. All right, so it was kind of long again because I showed the factoring and I showed the Desmos hack. Obviously, the Desmos hack might have been actually a little bit faster, for sure a lot easier, which is super nice. So thanks for watching, everyone. I know ACT math prep is not the most exciting stuff that's out there, but as we saw today, right, we're here to learn about the ACT. We're here to learn some math and learn a Desmos hack when we can. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep getting these quick hits, and your future self will thank you when you improve your score on the math section of the ACT. All right, thanks, everyone.